Posture. It's gotta be one of the hottest debated topics on social media. Even if you just say the word posture, people will start straightening up their backs. It happens in PT school. It happens everywhere. Do you ever notice that? Everybody seems to know what a good posture is. Text neck, hunchback, back pain, upper cross syndrome. People are always perpetuating the idea that having a bad posture is going to ruin your life. But what does the evidence say? People have the right intentions of educating the public about the benefits of having good posture, and in fact, they are demonizing movement, and that creates a problem. There are industries built on postural correction, whether it be shoulder straps that pull your shoulders back, lumbar cushions, fancy seats that you buy. You have really expensive office chairs and ergonomic desks. There's just about anything that you can think of. This idea continues throughout physical therapy school. You learn about all the curves in the spine, how you want to have a pipeline down from your ears to your ankles, how there's an ideal posture. It's like any time that you deviate from that straight line down your spine, you're instantly classified as dysfunctional, and we instantly label it with a dysfunction. If your spine is too flexed, oh, you have kyphosis. Spine is too extended, oh, you have lordosis. All these words are so oftenly casually thrown around. I think it can cause more harm to our patients than good. It's very easy to blame the posture, you see. If you have pain, it's because you don't have good posture. If a random person walks into your clinic, you can easily point out all the dysfunctions that deviate from the norm. But when you stand up, do you have good posture all the time? And I was taught this way. And this is what I believed in too. Oh, you have tight pecs, which is pulling your shoulders forward, which then is causing you shoulder pain. Upper cross syndrome. It's so easy to think that way. It's so easy to find anything that deviates from the ideal posture. If you go outside and look at the people around you on the streets, how they're walking, how they're standing, how many of those people have perfect posture? I think only classifying a posture as good or bad is way too simplified. Now, if somebody comes into your clinic with pain, is it because of their bad posture that's causing them pain? Or is it because for whatever reason, their bodies aren't tolerating the loads that they're putting on? There's no doubt that poor posture can contribute to someone with pain. For example, when you have someone with severe scoliosis, their curvature of their spines may very well predispose them to pain. But I think people are quick to blame everything on posture. And if you look at the research about prediction of pain based on posture, the evidence is actually very limited.
In this systematic review that looked at a ton of research about posture and pain, it states that according to our criteria, we did not find strong evidence for association between the sagittal spinal curves and any of the health outcomes studied. It goes on saying, we found insufficient evidence for an association between sagittal spinal curves and all other health-related outcomes. So they could not find a strong relationship between posture and prediction of pain. They also add that it's important to keep in mind that spinal curves may still play a role in pain syndromes of individual patients, and it would probably be unwise to dismiss a connection between spinal curves and health in all patients. So posture still definitely plays a role, but according to the study, the role that it plays is probably not as big as we once thought.
There's so much variability in humans. It's normal to have some asymmetries. It's normal to not have the ideal posture all the time. If posture is actually such a big deal, how do you explain people with good posture but have pain? Would soldiers who have good postures all day be immune to back pain then? What about those British soldiers who stand all day straight up? They can't possibly have pain with such good posture. When one of my CIs told me that there's no such thing as a good posture, that really challenged me, because it was opposite of what I learned in school. We gotta walk with good gait mechanics, we gotta lift with good body mechanics, and it's no different with posture. We gotta have good posture, and we gotta go out there and point out all the dysfunctions in our communities, in our families, in our friends, in our patients. And here's an analogy that I read somewhere that helps explain this concept. If I tell you to clench your fist for a minute, no problem. It's easy. But then if I tell you to clench your fist and hold it for 10 hours, then we're talking. You might start getting sore and achy. your muscles will start to complain. And you see, this is like telling someone to maintain a good posture. You really expect someone to maintain this clenched fist for the rest of their lives? Now, still maintaining that clenched fist, I want you to start turning your wrist around. Doesn't that feel a little stiff? Doesn't that feel a little uncomfortable? This is exactly what we're telling patients to do when we're telling them to hold their cores tight. Sometimes we can actually create more stiffness because someone who's in pain tends to be someone who's already guarding more. So if they're already stiff and you're telling them to stiffen up even more, and now you tell them to hold their abs in 24/7, 365 days a year for the rest of their lives.
In this study by Paul Hodges, they looked at trunk stiffness in people with back pain and without. They state that although increased spinal stiffness may be a short-term solution to prevent pain or compensation for the effects of the initial injury, it may not provide an ideal long-term strategy. If maintained, trunk stiffening may contribute to reoccurrence of injury and persistence of symptoms. So maybe too much of a good thing may have the opposite effect. They state that strategies to further increase stiffness, like the co-contraction of large trunk muscles, may not be ideal for rehabilitation, and long-term consequences are likely to outweigh short-term benefits. Pain is actually something that's so much more complex. We forget to look at the bigger picture. We gotta encourage movement variability. Instead of demonizing a certain posture, maybe you can say that for the time being, you may be more sensitive to a particular posture, and once things calm down, you can go back to your life and live in whatever postures that you like. In fact, a lot of research on back pain actually suggests that just about any exercises work for back pain. This study challenged the value of core stabilization exercises for lower back pain. With core stabilization exercises, they state that there was no significant benefit in the long run for pain or disability, which is so surprising because the idea of core strengthening for patients with lower back pain is so widespread. They compared specific core strengthening exercises with generic aerobic exercises such as biking, and they didn't find any long-term difference. They state that the rehabilitation strategies surrounding stabilization exercises has been challenged and has been suggested could encourage unhealthy thoughts and beliefs on pain and movement.
As opposed to the classic core stabilization exercises, just about anything works. So instead of pointing out all the dysfunctions and blaming patients for their bad postures, why don't we encourage a healthy lifestyle? Why don't we encourage an active lifestyle? Why don't we help patients to find something that they enjoy and helping them find an activity that they can incorporate into their days? Whether it be running, cycling, swimming, walking, hiking, walking the dog, whatever it may be. Because the body loves movement, regardless of what it is. And based on research, the lower back loves movement. And we have to understand that there's no one bullet that's gonna solve all the back pains in the world. Exercise may not solve everybody's back pain. So we have to look at every individual on a case-by-case basis about what other factors may be influencing this person's back pain. But regardless, I think exercise is a great starting point because it helps people to build confidence. It encourages movement, and from there you can start figuring out what other problems may be causing them pain.